Hey, and welcome back to Kim's Got Crafts. I'm Kim Luiso, and I'll be hosting your show and teaching you about Zentangle. It's one of the easiest things you can learn to do, and you probably already know how to. It's doodling. I love to doodle. But one of the things that's even more fun to do is I love getting the cheap white cups, especially because in my house, I have a lot of kids in my house, and they all use a ton of cups. This is so much fun. Zentangle is basically, you can section off areas, and for this is a fine point pen, which is not going to work very well. But you should use one of the Sharpies because the watercolor will not stay on this type of foam. What you're going to do is you make little sections, and they don't even have to be perfect. I like making some abstract because the whole Zentangle thing, Zentangle. Yeah, all right, I know. I say things off color sometimes. It happens. Well, what you're going to do is you're just going to put some circles and connect a bunch of circles. That's it. Really hard. Next spot, we can have lines on here, so we'll just trace over the lines. And then you can do every other one. Then on the next spot, just do diagonal lines. This is the hardest craft you're ever going to do. Then you can even do dots. When I went to art school, the dots was called stippling. And there's a few artists that still do it, and it's very therapeutic because you just sit there and dot and dot and dot and dot. The closer the dots get to each other, the darker it's going to be. This is where you get to have fun, experiment, play with the different designs. I like doing swirlies, like the letter S. We all love Superman. And then we do a little wavy lines. Then you try to connect just how many wavy lines can you do? How many wavy lines can you do? And follow it through. And you keep changing it up. This design works, like I said, great. You can sit there for hours filling in these cups. You can do, what's that called? A mandala, where you have the circle design and you section off areas. And this is where you can have all kinds of fun because you can make the same symbol going around. And this is another form of meditation if you do this version. And this is where you can use the other markers though and add color and more dimension and make things a little thicker and pronounced. And you can have fun with that. One of the other things I like doing with this is I get stencils and I'll trace it out, color it in, and then you can add these designs. You can do the lines all the way down and then do the lines in another. So you're making the triangles, then you keep adding. I've seen this done on cars. Somebody's done it in their home and they've covered their whole wall just using the different designs. You really don't need to go out and buy the books. I have a few here for reference, and I'm here to show you that if you just take your little design and make like a teardrop shape upside down and do a few of them, you just made a flower over the thankful, and that's a Zentangle type design, which is a great fun. Again, I use the stencils and now I have the framed area that I can doodle in. I also like these ones. These are little ornaments you can get at the store, and you just do quick little designs on here. Let me do it in the black so you can see it. And one of the cool ones is drawing like a lady figure and then filling in, especially her hair, in the background, and you leave her face, and it comes out very cool. So you do the little design, You draw quickly a little ear here. I don't know if you can see my little, do another eye there. Then do her face, come on down. And then, oh yeah, she needs lips. And then you have the little person right there, and that's when you start doing your little dots and filling in some background areas. And then when you do the swirlies in her hair, it gives more of the design of, you can, whatever you do, you almost like a Frankenstein, or, you know, and you just keep filling it in. Lines, outline her face, keep going with the outline of her face. Can you see that? Is that showing up on camera? I love that. I love doing a quick little face and doing the hair. And then you just add lines in between those squiggles that you already did. Add some dots in between the squiggles you already did, and you could see how that's taken shape and drawing on her hair. Or you can make some darker marks and fill it in a little better if you want. There's a whole different array of ways of doing this, and I just think it's a great fun little craft to have lying around. The wood ones are a little harder to work on because you'll find that the colors bleed a bit, and it's harder to get a distinct line, but don't let that stop you. Go ahead and do it anyways. You didn't make a straight line. On these markers, there's a flat side. Use the flat side and cover up the thin line that you messed up on. Use that and go over it. Now you have different areas. Oh, you messed up a little bit there? Let's add a different design there then. See, crafting is so much fun because it's your own thought process, and nobody's aware of what you intended to do unless you tell them. So they don't know you messed up. That's how you wanted it to look. And you can all use all different types of cutouts. And like I said, one of the things I like using is stencils so you can fill in and write. One of the things I forget to do often, smile. I need to smile more. I know that's a tough one for me. I'm sure some of you guys have that same issue. Smiling and working with the camera is kind of new to me, so I don't really look at the camera that much. It's a little intimidating. So we get a nice big smile. And then we can even add color to this, like some purple. So I'm going to do big swirly dots. And just sit there and fill it in. And this can keep your kids as well as yourself busy for a long time. Because then once you have the circles there, so see I added some circles. That's when you can go in with the fine tip marker that I couldn't draw on these with and add other designs in with that as well. And you keep a little squiggly here, and that's not working. The pen died. Oh my goodness, a pen didn't work. Imagine that happens to you, I'm sure, all the time in the house, because it happens to me. Pick something else up, use that, keep going, and add a few lines in, and you got it. A few more waves. And then there's different techniques you can do too using the lines, because you bring a few together like this in like a crosshatch pattern. And again, I'll have to move to a thicker marker so you can see that a little better. So you go with a big crosshatch pattern right there, right? There's ways that now you color in doing a cross here and a cross down at the other end, and it starts giving a unique design. And that's all these Zendangles is doing, is showing you different ways to design and fill things in. And once you're done with that project, you know I'm always ready to do something else. One of the other things that I wanted to show today, one of my favorite projects, I designed this one for the Northeast Comic-Con, and this is a project because they had somebody an artist that was part of Pokemon, so I designed this project. And we all know about the Pokeball, okay? And then you catch a Pokemon inside. Go to the right camera, can you see that? Yeah, there's a little Pokemon in there. And then you get to catch them, because that's what you do, you catch them in the ball. You start out with the circle, and you cut that out. Then you fold over a piece of paper, and when you go to cut out the circle, right, if you leave the fold just inside there, and then you trace around and cut it out, now you have a little card detail, okay? What you do with that next is, I usually take the popsicle stick I'll be using so I know where to make my markings. And that you just draw the lines right there. And usually about as long as, so you know where to stop cutting. So you draw how thick it's going to be. See, I used the popsicle stick at the bottom, and I used the popsicle stick there. And then all you do is make 2 slits, one on each side of the popsicle, where you use to mark for the popsicle with the line. And the cool part about this is, once you do that cut, there's a little, now you have a little piece right there. You just pop that out. And it's going to take you a minute, but you're going to fold it right there. And now you have what's going to be the inside to your Pokeball. And we all know how to do a Pokeball. I need the black because we need a big circle in the middle. And then it's lined on either side. And then you fill it in. This is something that there's many different Pokeballs. If you're a Pokemon fanatic, you know better than I do, and you know the correct colors and designs to make. So you color the next part in. I use the red, obviously, and you've designed a Pokeball. So I'm going to take a little tape. This is what I brought with me, so that's what we're using today. And you're going to stick that at the top of your popsicle stick. Peel off the back. It's double-sided tape because I need this to stick to that inner part right there. And that's how we're going to get the card to flip. Oh, I did it incorrectly. This is a learning experience. Even the teachers mess up. Yes, I know. I wasn't paying attention, and I get a little excited because, again, this is new to me too. Even the people working in the control room, this is new to them too. We're all learning. I always said I'm going to be the next Carol Duvall, and this is one of the things she did. She had all kinds of crafting stuff going on. Okay, I'm re-sticking this on here. And I loved that she would record all her mistakes and mishaps also, because that's how we all learn. And that's one of the greatest things about crafting, is you learn. So I'm going to put that right there on the back, not on the bump. The bump right here, and that is one of the things I did forget. So I'm going to, I didn't bring the Pokemon to catch, but that doesn't mean we can't create one, because we just draw the little eyes, and I think there is a Pokemon that looks like a little bear anyways, and you can let me know that. That was one of the difficult things. I know there's hundreds of Pokey things. Critters, guys, dragons, I don't know, Pikachus. So now, the little bump that's right there, you're only going to glue to one side because you're catching him. So now when you put it in like that, he's going to, if you don't have too much tape and glue, open up and you can see him in there. So when you close that on the outside, that's where glue or tape, you can use glue stick. I usually use when I'm teaching this at a workshop. And this is one of the ones the kids love. I've gotten some really cute Pokemon catchers come through for this craft. And that's it. That's all it is. And then you flip it and you catch your little Poke guy. That's the Pokeball craft for Northeast Comic Con. If you want to come by and make one, you're more than happy to. They have a show 3 times a year, and I host the kids part. So come on by, say hi, and we'll get to play around. Another thing that I forgot to teach you on one of our shows that we did paper crafting is I forgot to show you how to make these cute little containers, which are holding my glue sticks, my cups. In a few minutes when I clean up, I'm going to dump everything in here. This is so much fun because you take these plates and you're going to learn how to score. Okay? Scoring is a simple technique where you usually take a ruler. Today I'm going to use a popsicle stick because that's what I have on hand. This one, this container, I made by just measuring right where the side is. And you can do the fold. I was going to show you the score on the other one. I know I jumped the gun. My head gets ahead of me. Does that happen to any of you? Because I know it happens to me all the time. I think too much of what I want to do and don't stop and think about what I'm saying. I think that's the trouble with the world today. So now you have these little marks of where this, you see the score lines. Where these two meet is where you're going to bring them in together, and you're going to make a little spot right there. See how you tuck it right in? And then you're going to tuck it right in there. This is great for camping because if you forgot bowls to go with your cereal in the morning, you can make your own bowls. I use a stapler sometimes, but this works great too because, again, when you have kids around, and of course my stapler's jamming yet again. That's okay. We have glue, and you glue those spots. And then you're going to tuck the other sides in, quick and easy. And then using some of this fun tape, it's called washi tape. It's either a paper or a material, double-sided tape. So it had, well, not double-sided, sticky on one side, decorative on the other, decorative tape. I know I'm not paying attention to what I'm saying again, but I liked this Harlequin type. I'm not sure what it's called, but you just wrap it around, and this is great for your little picnics, your barbecue cookouts, because you can fill those with potato chips. And this way, no, you don't have a bunch of people sticking their hands in, you know, if they're swimming or whatever, and they get out of the pool and they want their chips, but they stick their hands in, and you know those young kids, they don't care, sopping wet, and the Cheetos end up dripping. This is perfect. Give them one of these. This one is perfect, so if you have burgers that you want to have ready, this is perfect size. You make the burger and drop it in. That's where we'll go back to the scoring. Scoring is you take the scissors and you lightly press down, creasing along the side. And here you lightly press down, creasing along the side, but being careful not to go through. And then that makes it so much easier to fold on that area. And that's just the same way I did this, but I did it a little bit more to the following the pattern. It's almost like origami. Take this end, fold it to that line, take that end, fold it to that line, and then fold along here, and that's how you get the sandwich one. Well, I think we've done a bunch of crafts today. I look forward to seeing everybody on upcoming episodes, and I hope you join me at one of the Northeast Comic Con shows, or come back and join me on Kim's Got Crafts. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.